All right, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and I've been going over the PowerPoint presentations for Murox ASP.NET 4.6 with C# 2015 6th edition. I'm in the middle of Chapter 18 of our text, How to Use Model Binding in the Entity Framework. We're up to our first application of, I think, 3 that are in the chapter. This is the product list application, which I have not brought up yet. So, this product list application is similar in appearance to the product list applications that we did in both chapters 13 and 17. However, rather than using an SQL data source control like we did in chapter 13, or an object data source control like we did in chapter 17 to retrieve the data, this example uses the classes generated by the entity framework and binds the data directly to the drop-down list and to the grid view control. All right. The application also shows how to filter data in a grid view control based on the value of a drop-down list. It also shows how to provide for sorting and paging when using model binding. Finally, it shows how to work with related data in a strongly typed grid view control. If we run this, it should look very similar in nature to what we've done before. Again, back in chapters 13 and 17. That is, it should show us the drop-down list right here. And when we choose one of the items from the drop-down list, then in a grid view that's over here, it should show us the associated, so those are the categories right there. And once we choose a category, it should show us the associated products right here. So if we go to props, we get the props. Special effects, we go to special effects. Masks, we go to masks. Costumes, we go to costumes, etc. All right, and if we take a look at the code that's associated with this, I guess we can stop the run. So again, there's our database. All right, there's our content. So this has got all of the Bootstrap, etc. files that we're using. Fonts, which has our glyphicons. Images, which has got our banner. All right, models, which has got that EDMX file, which again, if we double click on it, should bring up just what we saw earlier. Nothing new there either. All right, we've got our scripts, which is our Bootstrap and our jQuery. And if we bring up our default.aspx file, all right, what you'll see when we take a look in here is the category drop-down list is going to use the category drop-down list that's in here is using the entity framework and model binding to retrieve and display a list of all categories that are in here. All right. That gets the first category. All right, if nothing is passed in, and this retrieves all the products for the selected category. So the category drop-down list again uses the entity framework and model binding to retrieve and display a list of categories. The products grid view uses the entity framework and model binding to retrieve and display the list of products. The select method has a parameter with a control that can filter the data, so we only get the data. All right, we only get the data that's going to be based on the category that we asked for. And you've seen this before. This basically is in the pre-render, so this says that we're going to be able to use our Bootstrap classes. Nothing new there. All right, the ASPX file, which we already took a quick look at, starts with a Bootstrap row that contains a drop-down list control that's named DDL category. We already know what that is. That gives us our list of categories. All right. Then we've got another bootstrap row right here, and that defines the grid view. All right. And that grid view, which is named GRD products, indicates that it's bound to a product entity type, and its selected method property indicates that the data it displays is going to be retrieved from a method named GRD products get data, which is in here. Right there. All right. Now they mention that within this columns element that starts here in line 45 and it goes all the way down to line 73, you see that 3 of the bound fields have a sort expression property. In addition, we added a templated field, okay? Because the grid view control is strongly typed, this field can use the item keyword to access the underlying product that the row is bound to. All right, so the code behind file again, which we have looked at already in here. As it says, it starts by using 2 directives. Oh, sorry about that. So again, it starts by using two directives, the ones that are right here. These directives let you work with the entity classes in the models folder. It's the first one. And the second one lets you work with the model binding attributes without using fully qualified names. Here, as we saw earlier, okay, we're creating a variable that's going to store a new instance of the Halloween entity's object context. It's declared at the class level. In other words, it's declared outside of any method so that it'll be able to be used by any method. The first select method is for the category drop-down list. It selects all the categories from the Halloween database and it sorts them based on long name, which is exactly what we're doing right there. The return type of this is iQueryable. Okay? All right. Then the next one that we see in here, let me move that over so we can only see more of it. All right. This is for the product's grid view control. It also has a return type of iQueryable, which makes it easier for paging and sorting. It accepts a string parameter that it gets from the drop-down list. So in other words, it says, hey, for this category, give me the associated products. And the final method that you see down here as we already mentioned, is it talks about including the T-head and the T-body elements so that we're able to use Bootstrap with it. So nothing new there. Okay, so we went over all of this. I showed you the actual code instead. So the next section that's shown in here on the next 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 pages are going to talk about how to use model binding to update, insert, and delete data. And that will be the subject of the next video.